Hey team, it's Daniel here from RX Smart Gear Australia, and today we're going through 5 reasons you're not getting your crossovers. Alright, crossovers, they're a very controversial movement. Some people love them, some people hate them. We normally find that the people who don't like them are the people who can't get them. So we've got 5 tips that's going to help you get better crossovers. Tip number 1 is crossing your arms far enough. When you're doing jump rope, double unders, single unders, your hands are going to be down into a pocket position. That's going to allow that cable to rotate around the body freely. Now when you do a crossover, your hands have to go to the opposite side. We teach a pocket position, so my hands down by my pants pockets when I'm doing jump rope, single unders, double unders, etc. But then we do the cross, we want those hands to cross over to the opposite pockets and past. Now we need it to get past because that clearance of the rope handle and cable needs to go on the outside of our hips. If you're not getting that cable on the outside of the hips, it's going to skim up by the shoulder or you're just going to trip. So what you need to do is get those hands from that pocket position in that standard jump rope position all the way over to the opposite side. So try and over exaggerate those hands position, trying to get it on the outside of the hips. And one area that helps you do that is by piking a little bit forward. So get those shoulders over the toes. So it's okay when you cross to pike a little, try and get those shoulders over the toes and get those hands outside of the pockets. Tip number 2, when you cross, there is a tendency for the rope to be shortened. Just the same as when you widen your arms, the cable gets shorter. When you cross, what you're doing is your hands are coming up higher. So when you have your hands up higher, that shortens the cable. So it's a higher chance that you're going to trip. So when you are crossing, you try and get those hands down by the pockets again. So that pocket position that we were just talking about, crossing and try and get those hands down low. If you're going to get those hands up high, like you're almost hugging yourself, that is going to shorten the rope at your feet and it's going to lead to a higher chance that the cable is going to come in contact with your foot. So when you cross, try and get those hands down low, down by the pockets. Tip number 3 is arms out in front compared to close to the body. What we're wanting is those arms to be nice and close, because when we want that cable to come under our feet, we want it at its longest point as it comes underneath us. And the way to do that is by having our hands close to the body. If our hands are out in front, that's going to be throwing the cable much further out in front, and therefore the cable is going to be coming up at our toes as it comes towards us. So a hand position out in front is going to lead to more tripping rather than it being nice and close to the body. So when you're crossing, try and keep those hands close to the body rather than out in front. All right, tip number 4. Now this is a tricky one. Just the same as normal single unders and double unders, when your arms go wide, you're shortening the cable at your feet. The same thing happens when you're doing the cross. And a lot of people try and get the momentum when they're crossing, rather than going pocket, pocket position, pocket, pocket as we teach. We're going cross over to that pocket and then coming really wide. Now when you're coming really wide, just same with your double unders, that is going to be shortening the cable at your feet. So we want to maintain that pocket, pocket position when we do the cross, rather than it being pocket really wide, which shortens the cable. So pocket, pocket, not pocket wide. Tip number 5, and this is going to be a game changer for a lot of people. We always encourage a heavy cable for beginners when they're learning double unders and when they're learning crossovers. Now with that, heavier cable, it gives you feedback and allows you to learn, but it also slows you down. Now we just did a video on beginners trying to get double unders and we recommended a heavy cable. Same deal with the crossovers. You want to get a little bit of feedback and be able to control the rope rather than it being at speed. Therefore, you're going to be learning at speed. It's going to be a lot more difficult to learn the movement. So something like our buff cable or the beaded cable is going to be something that's going to help you learn and feel and control the movement. So the Frevo or the buff cable or the gummy cord, the licorice cord on the Frevo is going to have a little bit more feedback. It's going to allow you to control, learn and feel the movement. So highly recommend that you go for a heavier cable rather than a speed cable when learning crossovers. Well, I hope that was helpful. Like and subscribe. Ask us any questions below. We'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. Good luck with your crossovers, and we'll see you in the gym.